Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Talk with Mac, the show that is anything and everything sports. I'm Mac, and I'm not, I'm not feeling good about bringing you this news, but the lockout is happening. You've probably heard about it. The NFLPA decertified yesterday, and the owners sent a message to player rep, I believe it was player rep Kevin Mawa, who said the players are no longer welcome at the facilities and things like that. So the lockout has begun. 10 players filed a suit against the owners, countersuing them. So now this is all going to court, and it's going to be settled in the courtroom. Though we might luck out, we still might get a season because the judge could say, no, I'm not allowing you to lock out the players. So this is going to keep going until the new CBA is put into place. So we might just be under the old CBA for another year until it's all figured out, which is potentially good news because, we could still have football. Yay. But what I think the main problem with this is that they're not doing it how Paul Tagliabue and Gene Upshaw used to do the negotiations back in the late 90s and early 2000s, where it was no more than 3 people on each side and a mediator, and they would do the CBA that way. Now, you're having all of the owners in a room, all of the players in a room, and the one mediator expecting to figure it all out that way. It's not going to work like that. You can't have 200 people in the room and expect to get a deal done that way. You've got to have small numbers of people for each side getting the job done. That's how I think you have to do it. So, we may have football, we may not. I hope we do. I hope this all ends soon. I said the lockout was bound to happen, and regrettably, it has. I'd much rather have football than this bullcrap. But for this next story, I'm more happy talking about this. Jimmer Fredette is a freaking beast. BYU beat New Mexico State, or New Mexico, just one of those states that people forget is a state, 87 to 65-ish, and Jimmer Fredette had 52 points. The man is a god. He took more than half of BYU's shots. He took 37 shots, and 14 of them were three-pointers. He was 7 of 14 from 3. The man is he's a manimal. A man-animal. A manimal. Oh my god. I think that, given the right situation, Jimmer Fredette can be a good NBA player. He can be like a Jody Meeks type. Jody Meeks, 3 years ago at Kentucky, was averaging like 23 points a game. Now he's with the Sixers. He's in his 3rd season, averaging about 10 points a game. Being a good role player, because he's one of those 6'3" guards who doesn't have a precise position, but given the right point guard, given the right coach, given the right role players, he's a good player. He's averaging, I think over the last 10 games, he's averaging about 17 points a game for the Sixers. And I think Jimmer Fredette can be that kind of player. He's a shooter. He can take over a game when need be. I like what Jimmer Fredette is doing, and I think he can be a good pro player, given the right situation. The Big East title game. The Big East may have up to 11 teams in the NCAA tournament, which would be a record. And UConn and Louisville are playing in that title game. Now, me personally, I like Louisville. Good players, they graduate a lot of players. I also like UConn. They tend to put out more NBA players than Louisville does because of Coach Calhoun and what he does. But I like Kemba Walker. He's my favorite player in UConn. But I like Louisville, though I think UConn's going to win the game. Though my favorite Big East team is Pitt. You can say what you want because they're like a top 5 team. But what they do, they graduate players, they keep them there for 4 years, and they're consistently in the top 25. I like what Pitt does, and I wish they would have won, but they'll be a 1 or 2 seed in the tournament. I think they can make it to the Elite 8. And now it's time for my mock draft picks of the day. Last time we did Cowboys and the Redskins. Cowboys taking Tyson Smith, and the Redskins taking Robert Quinn. And now it's the Texans and the Vikings at 11 and 12. I have the Texans taking Prince Amukamara, which I think is the best name in the draft, and he's the second best corner in the draft. And he has what it takes to be a top flight corner, not one of those shutdown guys, but one of those guys where you think about it when you throw at him. I think he can be a good corner, and it'll be good for the Texans because their secondary sucks big time. So Prince Amukamara, my favorite name in the NFL draft, going 11. He might fall there, might not. We'll see. And for the Vikings, I have them taking J.J. Watt, defensive end from Wisconsin. He's been flying up the boards, had a good combine showing. And if the Vikings are more than likely going to lose Ray Edwards in free agency whenever that happens. So J.J. Watt can probably come in and start right away for them. Be a good pick. And then the Vikings should go outside linebacker in the second round if they lose Ben Lieber in free agency. So, a little bit of a draft strategy for the Vikings. They don't need much. They need to get a veteran quarterback, because I think if they get a veteran quarterback who can play well there for 3 or 4 years, they can win a Super Bowl. Because they're still young enough at the core if they keep Sidney Rice. If they keep Sidney Rice, they're young enough at the core that on offense there'll be something to reckon with for years if they get that quarterback. So that's it for today. I wanted to put out a video yesterday. That's why I'm putting out a video on Saturday. Let me know what you think of the show. Tell your friends. Spread the word. Let's get the show off the ground. Thanks, you guys. I'll see you soon.